It's kit unboxing day. I remembered this time. Hey everyone, it's Cathy Zielske. Welcome to my channel and my studio. And today I will be unboxing the latest card kit from Simon Says Stamp and making 4 cards and 1 crafty project. To see these all come together, stick around. That video is coming up next. Commence the unboxing. All right, let me get everything out and laid out for you. Here's a look at the Simon Says Stamp 2025 card kit for October. This is called Fall Vibes. We start out with sugar. I have cotton candy in my Charm Mini Pop. We will set you over here. All right, let's get started. These, oh, listen, they're heavy duty. We have 2 frames. These are the Tim Holtz Ideology photo frame set. Now, I have never used anything like this. They're super sturdy. I don't know what I will do, but you know what? That's part of the card kit. Okay, we're going to set you right there. You are going to get the Pumpkin Patch stencil set. There are 4 stencils in here to create. Let me just take a peek here. Different layers. I do like a layering stencil. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, and I'm very excited about this because the Simon design team, we meet and we assign things, and I'm very excited that I think Nina Marie Trapani designed this. We love the overhead view. I think that is really fun. Love a stencil set. Okay, so there's 4 stencils in there. What is this? Oh, I was going to order some of these. This is one of the Distress blenders, the ones that they just pop out like that, right? Looks like there's a cat here. Isn't that how it works? And then does it twist out, or do you pull? There you go. You pull it in and close it. So you're going to get one of these if you have never tried them. Okay, so I go like that to show the brush, and there we go. And this is a much firmer kind of bristle, so that's very different from the kind of blending brushes I usually use. But I have to say, love the sleek packaging. Okay, you're going to get the Simon Says Stamp Modern Loop 3D embossing folder. That's really cool. Lots of detail. Love a good 3D folder. Okay, that will be fun. Okay, so this is a surprise to me. This is, and I saw this as I was arranging things, so I did not know this was going to be part of the fall kit. I'm very excited to show you this. This is called the A2 Grid Basics. This is a stamp set that I designed, and it has all of these little greetings. It has been decidedly too long since I saw your face. Birthday wishes for your special day. Sending many congrats on your big day. Sending you all of my love during this difficult time. I've missed you so very much and just wanted you to know. Thank you for being there for me when I needed you. I'm so grateful for you every day. Sending all the hearts your way. It's kind of hard to see that. And then over here, there's a balloon, there's a flower, there's little dot details, hearts, a little bar, and the bar is designed, if you stamp 4 bars in a row, you can overlay, hello, my sweet friend. Now, I have created this as part of a series, and there are coordinating dies that are available today that are part of this set. And I'm going to overlay some product pictures so you can see what I'm talking about. One of them is just a basic grid set, and that set is designed as a set of dies to allow you to die cut a grid shape to put onto the front of a US A2 card. And then there are other shapes as well. The square fits around all of these pieces, and you can create your own grid, whether it's pattern paper, whether it's something you ink blended and interspersing these little pieces. I'm so excited about this. And then the image on the right that is the actual coordinated dies that go with this. So I don't have those to show you in the video, but I'm definitely going to link them because that is what they were designed to do. They're small, minimal greetings that can work, well, they can work on any card, but they are designed to go with those two products. So keep an eye out for those. If you love this kit and this stamp set, you might want to add the dies to your box. Okay, I did not know they were going to be in there. That is fun. Okay, you're going to get some large collage strips. These are Halloween 2024. Oh, and I do love, oh, are they all separate? Let's take it out. I wondered if they were like a pad, but I don't think so. I think they're just, oh, okay. Single-sided, thank you, Tim, so you don't have to make choices. Oh, and I do love the vibe of, oh my gosh, sorry. I'm just gonna grab one of these real quick because if that wouldn't be the creepiest Halloween card ever, or just, you know. Okay, so you're gonna get all these collage strips, and the cool thing about these are you can cut them apart. They've got different pieces. If this is your vibe, oh my gosh, talk about the creepy kids. Hey, creepy kids. Hope you're having a good day. They don't look too happy. Hello, family. I keep trying to put this over the top. We are much happier than we look. Oh my gosh, those are so great. All right, there is a whole other sheet here, or a whole other stack in here too. So I'm just gonna say there's a lot of collage strips with a lot of potential. Oh my goodness. Okay, I must do something with the collage strips that is clever. And you know me, I love Halloween. So I'm just gonna, and you know what? This would be a cute way to make a bookmark for my hubby. He loves to read. Imagine that. Okay, so we have all of those. You are going to get a piece of the Tim Holtz Ideology Craft. And I'm going to get, well, I don't know which sheet you will get. They may vary, but I got this cool color. Loving that, okay? And then for cardstock, let's see what we have here. We have one sheet of Simon Says Stamp Creamsicle. Very nice orange. I'm trying not to bend things. Okay, Creamsicle. We have Simon Says Stamp Ivory and is this dark chocolate? Yes, dark chocolate. So those are some fun things. Now, you know, I gotta do the thing that I do, which is noodle. Again, this will be fun to try something funky with that. I don't know what I'm going to do with that or that little lovely, but that, I mean, the color's just great. Of course, we have our pumpkin patch stencils, and we have my new stamp set that I'm excited to play with this as well. So let me begin to percolate, and I will be back with card number 1. Before I get started with card 1, there was one more part that you are going to get in the card kit, and that is the new black stamp and stencil mat from Simon Says Stamp. This is a low-tack mat, and the thing that's kind of nice about having black is that it doesn't stain as much. So this comes undone. You have a sticky surface and you can work on that. Unfortunately, I did the first part of the kit before I realized this was part of the kit, and I didn't realize this was part of the kit until the video was almost done. So I don't use this at all, but you are going to get one and you can. Okay, now we'll move on to card 1. You know how I like to follow packaging? For card number 1, I'm going to do just that. I pulled a few colors that I think are in the range of this because I love this sample. And I'm going to speed this whole thing up. And one of the things that I love to do, this is 5 1/4, 5.5 by 5.5. I love to use something with a corner. Now you could use, I'm going to move this up just a bit. You could use a Misty for this as well, or you could just stick it down and, you know, go to town. But the reason I like this, and again, I'm going to have part of this. Oh, you know what? Now I've got to move it just a little bit. Hold on. Here we go. The paper will stay sticking, right? And then all I have to do is just put my stencils into the corner each time, and I don't have to think about lining them up in any special way. We're just going to use that corner right there. So let's speed it up and I'll talk you through my colors. We're starting out with melon, and what I'm going to do here is just have a nice light even layer of each color on the pumpkins. And once that's down, I'm going to darken it up a little at where the stem comes together. Very easy to do this. And these stencils are really nice, even though there are little delicate, the partitions. It held together really well when I was blending. And here again, I'm just darkening around the stem area. And then I'll just smooth it all out together with one final little brush over. And I'm going to clean stencils in between with alcohol. Moving on to fawn. And I did add a little tape here just because I did not want this to shift at all, and repeating the process. Now, again, I highly recommend if there's a color palette provided for you, give it a try. Graphic designers put some thought into it. Nina Marie, who designed this stencil set, probably thought, these colors look good together. Nina, I agree. So that's why I did this. This is not a combo I would think to do, but I really love how it works together. And here again, I'm darkening up that area around the stems with my smaller brush, and then using my larger brush to smooth it all out. And that is color 3. Next, coming in with seafoam, and here we're going to do the same thing. Blend that color on nice and light, and darken it up at the stems. Now I do have this sped up about 300%, but I kind of thought, you get the idea of what I'm doing. It's pretty repetitive, but I do like having that common corner to kind of jam my stencil into, because then I don't have to look through or think too hard. And sometimes when I'm crafting, I don't want to think too hard. You know what I mean? I just want to make the magic. So smoothing that all out, and then the last part of the stencil are the stems. And here I'm going to use 𝐓𝐢𝐦𝐞, which is part of the trio that includes fawn. But here, just a word of warning, if your pad is juicy, and my 𝐓𝐲𝐴 was pretty juicy because it's fairly new, I just tap off a little first, or don't start right in the center. So you don't want any ink to spread underneath the stencil. But this turned out great. And there we go. We have our blended panel. Now that I've finished this, I cut a little piece of clementine cardstock, and I'm going to stamp a couple of these little friends. And then, even though I don't have the coordinating die set, I can cut them with a square die, just like a random square die. So I am going to say, we'll try a couple. I love It Has Been Decidedly Too Long Since I Saw Your Face. And I also have I'm So Grateful for You Every Single Day. So the idea, again, these are designed to be small and go in a grid design, and I will show you an approximation of that in another card, I think. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to get this primed. Just getting the coating off because I have not used these stamps yet. Oh, don't move there. All right, and I will, let's see, clear embossing ink. I think I'm just going to go with white powder. I don't think I want to do anything different. So let's first of all remove static and oil. I do have a little oil on my fingers because I put some oil on my manicure, and you should never do that before you're about to emboss, but sometimes I just get carried away. Okay, let's stamp this. Bring this down, and I will just gently transfer, and hopefully, oh, that's gonna look good. I was wondering how, because it's very delicate, but that looks like it's gonna work well. All right, bring down, transfer, and transfer. And we'll see how this looks. Oh, there's one of my hairs in there. All right. Oh, that actually turned out, except for oil there. And I can brush that away, but otherwise that looks pretty darn good. Okay. I thought about doing this in a chocolate, like a dark chocolate color ink, but you know what? I think having it be embossed is going to be more fun. Now, let's grab our brush, before I get too carried away here, and this is why, see, you can see I had a little oil there. Just brush it away. Like that. All right, that's going to look great. Let me heat up my heat tool. I'm going to use a very dirty cloth here. I actually accidentally poured all of my embossing powder into the center of my last remaining Swiffer cloth. I have to get some more, but for now, that's what we have. Oh my gosh, that just stamped so well. Look at how nicely it holds the detail. Okay, I'm going to cut these out with just a random square die because, like I said, I don't have the coordinating dies. And then I'm going to turn this into a card. Just wanted to show you, just using a basic square die. And this is, what is the size of this one? Oh, that looks so cute. The size of this is 1.5, well, about 1.5 inches. So you could even do that with a square punch if you had a square punch. But now I'm going to use another die to trim this down and maybe add a little splatter detail. Even though I have this big, beautiful panel, I think I'm going to crop a rectangle using, oh, let me see. You know how I love to crop down, but also I'm kind of obsessed these days with this die set. It's the A2 scalloped rectangles, because no matter what I do, if that were right in the center, that is really cute. Okay, I love minimal greetings. Let me cut this out. Oh, I think that's so cute. And now bring that up. Again, I can save these. I could put a little strip on the inside of the card if I wanted. I rarely do that, but I don't know, I don't want it to seem wasteful, because sometimes I feel like when you are going for the right look, I mean, this on a white note card, or this one, let's see. I mean, that too. But I actually think because this has more orange to it, I'm going to use that one. For my spatter fun, I'm going to do the Positively Perfect White Splatter Medium. This is pre-mixed, which is kind of nice that you don't have to, to smush anything down. One of these days, I swear I'm going to spill the whole thing, but you just pick some up. I'm going to tap some of the bigger blobs off and just put a few spatters on, just a little. I don't need it to be super, super spattery. I just thought it'd be cute to have a little like that. That. Okay, and I will just let that dry and then I will assemble my card. Okay, I went ahead and popped that up on here. I don't know if this is if the white paint is completely dry. I had some blobbies, but I didn't want to like blob them off. And so here, I'm just going to gently drop that. I'm going to make sure this is straight. Oh yes, that's straight. So cute. Oh, but guess what? I guess I didn't waste the inside. What? I took a piece and put it on the inside. Now I think this is so cute. I don't want to put anything else on it. So no mucky muck for card one. This is clean, simple. Used some of my leftovers, and card one is done. For card two, I took one of the collage strips and I cut some dark chocolate and some of that metallic, and I'm just going to glue them on here sort of, I don't know, willy-nilly, right? Not willy-nilly. There's going to be a method to my madness. All right, let's just do, I'm just going to put some tape runner. Now, I could use liquid glue, but you know what? Sometimes I don't want to. And yes, sometimes I go through tape runner like there's no tomorrow. But that's what my craft supplies are here for, right? They're here to be used. Gotta use them. Can't be afraid to use them all. So what I will do is just put this right in the middle. try to get it as flush as possible because I will be trimming this down. So now all I have to do is just butt things up. Now you know, or maybe you don't know this about me, I love a good strip card. It's such a fun way to play with color, play with some of the things you have, and especially scraps. Great way to do that. Let's see if I can keep this the right side up. Because see, I split this right in the same place, so that could be kind of fun. I just don't know how I'm going to cut this yet, to be honest with you. I might cut it with scallops again, because I'm kind of obsessed with the scallop dies for some reason. Okay, let's come up here and line it up here, right there. All right, get in there, drop it up, press. And just repeat that pattern. I can go up a little if I want. That way, most of this is covered. Now, it's not the full panel. You could certainly do that. You know, you could cover the whole thing, but I'm going to be cropping this down just a little with a die. So let's get all that lined up like that. All right, and then sometimes I will just take my bone folder and just kind of go over those seams, make sure they're nice and pressed down. That could come in a little bit. And I will trim off these edges because I don't want this going through my die cut machine and getting, what do you call it? Dot runner. I guess I didn't need to fill it all up with dot runner. Okay. Shoot all the way here. And now let me get those dies again. Now I'm just going to cut this out, and the nice thing is it will kind of fuse everything together nicely. Let me run that through. All right, let's lift that up. Looks like it cut through beautifully. And now I have, oh, I didn't have it fully on. Okay, now I have a beautiful panel that I need to put a little cardstock on the back, but that's okay because I wasn't sure I was going to go with the vertical. Okay, moving on. I'm going to do a birthday greeting here, and again, I'm just going to use a little shape die to cut it out. Also, you can just prime a stamp with your finger. You don't have to have a fancy tool, but we do want to have anti-static powder, right? Get that on there. And I still think I'm going to do this with a white because I don't have copper. I don't have that color embossing powder, so I think I'm going to stick with the white. Bring that down, transfer. I get one more nice coating. And I think for this, I'll just use a circle die to cut this greeting out. And again, just using the white fine detail powder. Oh, I might have to brush a little bit off. Certain cardstocks can be a little more staticky. That looks pretty good. I'll use my little brush just to get that all cleaned up. That looks really nice. I just had a different idea. What if I took one of the smaller little scallops from this set and just did a shift to one side, frame that out. I'll show you what this looks like. I'm going to cut that out. This just kind of came to me. I don't know what this will look like. And if it's not cute, I can always just go back and redo it. But what if I just did that? Oh, wait, which way? No, it does go this way. What if I just did that off to one side? So I kind of repeat that scallop. Oh, that's very cute. All right, let me get that together. I popped that onto an ivory note card. Just going to take a little bit of my craft glue here. Just do a little float time glue for a little hydroplane. Because once I figure out the perfect placement for this, and let's hold it like that. This is down just a bit, and it's going to butt right up against the edge like that. And that is a nice little, see how I'm using the T-square to get it flush to the side there so it's right on the edge? And that's a nice way to sort of draw the eye down, have this sort of anchored down there. Now, I do have maybe one set of pearls somewhere that might look cute with this. Cute. I feel like this is a very austere design, so let me see if I have something a little more vintage looking. I do have some satin gold pearls. Now the reason why this could work is it kind of has well, let's see. I don't know. I might be trying to make fetch happen here, but let's just see. Here's the beautiful thing. If I don't love the way this looks, I can just pick it up and move it off, but maybe just a couple, I don't know. One little one, pick you up. Oh, I just lost the glue on that one. Maybe one here, like that. Gosh, I don't know. Maybe that's all I need. Or maybe do I want to have a total of 3 where this guy just comes down here? Or do I just want to kind of mirror it from top to bottom? You know, there's no rule that says odd is the only way to go. And this, we could put you right there. And then I would take this little one and I could either go perfectly, yeah, you know what? That's what I want to do. I want to have them basically kind of mirror imaging for each other like that. I think that's pretty cute. And I'm going to say, oh, come down here just a little, that this card number 2 is done. So just taking some strips, got a little shine in there. I used my little scallop edge card 2. Who knew? All right, moving on. For the next card, I wanted to show you the potential of these little pieces with a sample of the die that's going to be part of the A2 Basics grid. And what I did today was I just cut one out of cardstock. This is not using a die because I don't have the dies yet. This is using my design files, and I just created a quick cutting file. The reason why I don't like cut files is because they don't go down straight at all. They don't get that beautiful curve, but the die that's coordinating with this is the idea. Now mine looks super wonky, but you create a grid and all of these little pieces will fit inside the grid, and the dies that coordinate with this, they cut these out like just the words themselves, but there's also a square that cuts out all 3 of those. And again, one for the balloon, one for the flower together, and the hearts, etc. So what I think I'll do, and I cut this out of here, so it's got like a Halloween vibe just because it's spooky. And then I cut those charming ladies out of another sheet. And now I'm going to stamp some hearts on, and I think I'm just going to do orange and black for kind of a cool look. So let me get set up to stamp those. So I'm just going to stamp 2 hearts in each quadrant. I think I'll go cantaloupe. No, because, well, now I don't know. Because I think black would be cute. Would it be cuter to have more black? Let's see. I'm just going to use my little ink cube here for these hearts. It's a little macabre having black hearts, but hey, you know what? Why not? Little black hearts here. And then I'll clean them off because I have to move them, so I don't want to put dirty hearts down on a little thing. I mean, this is just kind of a funky graphic look, right? It's very simple. We're going to put one here, and we're going to pick this guy up and put it here, and I'll do these in orange. Yeah, like that. Pick them up. And this will be cantaloupe. I think this will be dark enough, and if not, I can switch out for a darker ink. Little orange. Oh, that'll be a nice match to that cardstock. Little orange, like that. Okay, and I'll also do that in black. Now, if I wanted to, oh, you guys come out. I could, and I'm going to pop these up on very thin foam squares. I could add that 3rd heart in the opposing color, the little one, but you know what? We'll see. Okay. Put you there, and put you there. All right, let's get these popped up with these fun little squares. I decided before I adhere these sweet little people, these little details. I want a little spatter on here. So let's get my brush back out. This time I'm going to use some gouache. This is carbon black. It's really dark, so I want to make sure all of my things are sort of out of the way because it kind of gets on just about everything. And a little goes a long way. That's enough right there. This tube is going to last me forever. Then you wet it down. I'm going to get my brush wet and we'll just swirl this a bit. It's very opaque, so it does go on nice and dark as opposed to an ink pad, which sometimes can show up a little bit differently. But we'll tap, 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 tap some big blobs, and then we'll just put a few kind of at an angle. Okay. So you'll see a few, but not too many. We'll leave it just like that. I decided to pop this onto a white note card. I could have done cream, but you know what? Sometimes I'm just feeling a white note card because it's so simple, and I have extra white cardstock. I have more than I have of the cream. So here, all we're going to do is just get all of these lined up again. I will use a little glue on each, foam square. That shouldn't be a problem there. I'll use the tip of my sucker to get that away. And then all I have to do is just place it in, the center here. You know what? It's kind of hard to see with all my fingers in the way. Get it right about there. And I'll just bring this up. Oh, let's put it on the right ledge. Like that. Does that look straightened? Does that look straight enough? That's why I love the liquid glue, because then you can look. I think that looks good. Use this and make sure that is straight. Okay, it takes a second for it to dry, and then we'll just add these in. So this is kind of a funny card in terms of telling someone I've missed you so very much. I just wanted you to know. But here, we're going to up the creepy factor with just a little creepy twin ladies who I don't know. They don't look so happy, but maybe they are. And maybe that's how my friends feel when they hang out with me. I don't know, But again, I just wanted to point out, I just wanted to show you what the die is intended to do. This is wonky and not straight because I cut it from an electronic cutter, and then when I took it off the cutting mat, it just got wonky. But the die set, I can't wait to get it and play with it and show you more ideas for this, just the grid, because you can use whatever you have in the grid. Of course, my job today is to show you kit contents, and that is why I did want to include the grid so that you knew, oh, that's why they're all sized like that, because they can all fit into the grid. And again, it's not going to be perfectly straight here because of that, but it's a funky card. And actually, I could put some more things on here. Hold tight. I'm just going to add a few black pearls right here, just for a little extra texture. This is a very, what's the word? Kind of a graphic design. You know what I mean? Like it's, and I got way too much glue on there. That's okay. It'll dry. I'm having some glue issues today. Boop, there we go. And you here. Boop. And actually, if I wanted to be special, I could just wipe a little of that glue away. Just use your fingers, Cathy. You can get glue on your hands. There you go. And that's the finished card. Kind of funky, kind of different. Imagine that this little guy here is perfectly straight, although maybe the wonky is part of its charm. Okay, moving on. For the next card, I want to use the Modern Loop embossing folder. There we go. I know I can get it out. There we go. All right, the first thing I'm going to do is run it through my machine. And it doesn't really matter at this point which side is up and which side is down. So I'm going to position my cardstock right here. Now, this is white cardstock, and this is 80 pound. I don't do this very often, but I kind of wanted to see what the difference was. So I use, for my Anna Griffin electric die cutting machine, one clear plate and this, and I will run it through my machine. And now we will take a look at our texture. Oh my gosh! Will you look at that? That is beautiful. Okay, now I'm kind of thinking today I want to do the blackout technique. So I'm going to get some inks and add some color to the insides of this panel. I think because I liked the palette so much of these three colors that I'm going to ink blend on the debossed sides. You can see that, right? Because I'm going to do the blackout technique over the top. But here, I'm not worried about that pattern. We're just gonna kind of, well, it doesn't really hold down. I'm gonna speed this up a little and just add color to all of the insides of these, for lack of a better word, petals. Again, I'm going to speed this up just because you get the vibe of what I'm doing, and that is just randomly adding my three colors to the petals themselves. And it can be messy, it doesn't have to be accurate. I'm overlapping some. Orange and blue don't really make mud, so that's okay, right? Just depends on the colors you have, but just kind of stay focused on your petals. And for the last one, I actually brought in a smaller brush because I wanted to keep that brown just a little more isolated. But you just work your way through until you have a panel that is messy and full of color, and it looks like a hot mess, but we are about to make the magic with the swipe of a darker pad. So it doesn't look like much right now, and typically what you would do is swipe a black pad over, and I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to take the fawn pad and swipe it to do a different color. So all we have to do is just swipe, swipe. Isn't that funky? Okay, coming around the other side, trying not to get my fingers all over it. Swipe. And swipe. And that, my friends, is basically a modified blackout. Again, you can use a black pad to make it a little more dramatic, or you can just use one of the pads that you already did your color in. Look at how gorgeous that is. That is just beautiful. All right, that is the panel for my card. Wanted to show you a few things I did to save a little time. Number one, I trimmed this panel down to be 3.5 by 4 3/4. Number two, I took this little bar and lined it up on my Misty and stamped it in the same colors from the card. And then I put the Hello, My Sweet Friend over it. So that's kind of my idea with that bar stamp. And then here I stamped Sending All the Hearts Your Way. And I actually did that in VersaFine Clair because it can hold the detail really nicely. And then I stamped the heart right in the center. So I don't know which one of these I want to use, but I had an idea for this. I want to try that thing where you line up the die and then you flip the die. Let's see if this will make sense. So that I can get a fully enclosed scalloped greeting. I don't know if this will work. So let's go like that. It's kind of like how you might do if you have a strip die and you want all the edges to be finished. Now this probably is going to transfer to my top plate because it's I stamped it in the VersaFine Clair. So I may have to wipe that off, but let me show you what I mean. I'll cut this part first. All right, and just to double check, see that right there? Can you, let's see, I think it would show up really well if I put a piece of paper behind it. There it is. And when that happens, you just want to make sure that you clean it off. And what I usually do is I'll just take, oh, I've got so many things to clean with. I'll just take a little bit of my alcohol. This is getting pretty low. Give it a spritz and wipe it off before I use it again. And that's only with the VersaFine because it's a pigment ink. So it does take time to dry. I just didn't want to take the time to let it dry. And now here's what I'm gonna try. So we take this part up. Yeah, how do I do this? And then we go like this, and we try to sandwich it right back into those grooves, okay? Like that, so that we can get it curved on all sides. I think this might work. Hold your breath. And again, I'm going to have to clean, I'm gonna have to clean that again before I forget. Trust me, I've done this before where I cut something out with pigment ink, didn't clean it off, and wondered why I had something transferred on to my piece. But now, when I lift it up, it worked perfectly. I have a perfectly little scalloped greeting that I can use on this card project. Okay, and I wonder too, what is that? Oh no, just a pin. That is so cute. Okay, let me get some foam squares on, and you know what? Now that I'm looking at this, I might have to scallop this too. I'm just kind of into the scallops. Let me do that for a little bit of repetition. Again, this is a newer die set that came out in Stamptember, which, as you are watching this, that is currently the month we are in. Can I get that there? Oh, yes, I can. And you know what? Even if some of the pattern gets a little, what's the word, flattened, that's going to be okay because you still have all that cool texture from the way the ink hit the paper. Let me go cut that out. All right, I trimmed it down just a little bit more with the smaller scallop die, and I have to do it. I've got to do a little spritz on here. And I'm just getting that pigment out of the bottom. I do store this flat, but this is a really nice little medium for adding a little shine, a little spatter or splatter, whatever your fancy is. But it's shiny. I don't want it on the greeting. I just want to put a little here on the panel, because then it will show up when the light hits it, you know. It'll just look like a little something something. And you don't see much yet, but once it's tipped into the light, I think it will be very nice. All right, that's enough. I'll just let that dry and we'll pop it onto the note card. So the reason I trimmed this with a smaller size down is I felt like there was a bit of a scale issue. Like it was almost too big for what I've planned. And so that's why I did it. And here I'll just put a little bit of the liquid glue here on the back, just for that little bit of float time. And let's see here, I kind of want to look and just see the center right about there. I'm just going to let that sit for a minute. That looks pretty centered to my eye. And then I'll bring this in just to make sure it's straight. You can butt your T-square right up against the scallops, and that is straight. Now you can see the bit of shine that's on the card. And I could add a few little pearls to this, so let me grab some. And we'll add these. Can I do this left-handed? Yes, I can. A little bit of glue and boop. Oh. Boop. We're going to do the classic, yeah, left-handed is hard. 5 there. Boop. I have to do it this way. I'm not ambidextrous when it comes to picking up little guys. Boop, there, and boop. Might be a little much glue, but that'll be okay. Come on, stick. There we go. Oh, and that's the finished card. So that one did take a little longer, but now you can see all that beautiful texture. This is that blackout technique, but you don't have to do it with black, and you still get the little indentations. Plus there's the shine, and we have our little scallops. All right, love how this turned out. Okay, one more card to go. For the final card, I'm actually going to make a project because I want to figure out a way to use one of these frames with, like, I don't know, one of these terrifying images. And I thought, what if I made a little Halloween treat bag? And this, I'm just pulling something from my stash that I have not used in a while. I actually do have a video from a few years ago where I used this for the first time, and I'll be sure to link that up there for you if you want to check that out. But I'm going to assemble this gift bag, and I also cut out some of the collage strips to put onto the handles just for a little added extra something something. So let me add some tape to these so I can assemble this. Now, it had been a while since I did one of these boxes, and it always happens with 3D things. Once I do it and I know what I'm doing, then it's no problem. But here, I did put the tape in mostly the correct places. I just assembled it incorrectly for about a hot minute, and then I realized I just have to flip it over. So I used Terrific tape. This is the 1/8 inch. And here, you sandwich the bases together, but then all I needed to do was flip. I was folding it in here where I needed to fold it back. And I started to think, what? Oh, you go the other way. So I didn't really do it incorrectly. It just took me a minute to figure out how to put it together. And again, you can use liquid glue for this, but it comes together very quickly. It's a really cute little die set, and I need to use this more for treats. I need to give more treats in the world. I think that's the takeaway for today. Treats are good. And then once it's all assembled, you can take your bone folder and give it a nice press. Really adhere that together, but the Terrific tape does a really great job of holding things. And then I'll just add my piece of the collage paper, which I cut with the little handle, onto a piece of the dark chocolate. And I want that to be facing out when I assemble the bag handles so that you see the cute pattern. But yeah, goes together quickly. 2 little handles, both are different. That's totally fine. And then I'm using score tape on these because I figured that would be a very quick and firm adhesive to put on. And then I just match up the handle on the other side. And what's so cute is they squeeze together. Isn't that sweet? I might actually adorn this. Let me see here. I got to figure out the measurement with a little extra paper on one side. I don't know. Let me cut that really quickly. And let's see. Because that could be cute. I mean, I know it kind of reads on the side, but I might do that on, well, because I do want to work in this frame. We'll see. This is, let's measure this. This is just under 3 1/4. I need to save that, but I will take a spooky one here and get that. I want to save that creepy face like that. And we'll go like that for the other side, just if I decide to do that, because, you know, I'm making a treat box. This isn't even a card, but you know, sometimes you got to break it out. You got to break out and try something different. Okay, let me put these creepy children cut to size. Look at how creepy that is. Just so creepy. Oh my gosh, how do people do this? Okay, so is this the perfect size? It needs to come in a tiny little bit, but I'm still gonna make sure that I measure once, measure twice, cut once. Let's do that right there. Okay, and you come here. And I think, I don't know what the best adhering medium is. I'm assuming like a glue. Oh, I love crafting. Okay, let's put the creepy children on this frame. Now, will this glue work? I sure hope so. Do you know what might work better though? Honestly, the sticky double-sided tape because this stuff is really strong, and I have a feeling that if I use this, it's less likely to come off. And so I'm going to use this guy. It's so sticky. So now I can get you hopefully lined up and get these off. I just want to burnish really well. Okay, just make sure that's really on that, because I don't think those are ever going to come off. I mean, again, this isn't necessarily meant to be kept forever, right? Sometimes when we make a little craft that's a treat, it doesn't have to be there forever. Unlike glitter. You know what I realized? I did not use this at all, and I did not use the Stampin' Stencil mat. That's because I forgot it was included, of course, until, well, you already know that because I explained that in the beginning. It was sent in a different box. Okay, and now all I'm going to do, just to make sure this is lined up properly, is to drop it down right on top. Now I may have to trim a little right there in the corner. Maybe a little bit there. I don't want any of it showing on the side. I think we got it. Creepy kids. Oh, look at those creepy children. I don't know if it needs the little back. Actually, that's kind of cute. Okay. I just realized something. I could use this, and I could sort of dirty this up. Hold tight. What if this became my distressing brush? I only have one, right? So what if we just use it like this? Come here, Cathy. I've got a little cube of scorched timber. Just gonna pick up a little, just kind of mess it up. Oh, yeah. Look at that. We're getting it dirty. We're making it spooky. This is me trying to be a little vintage and messy, but it is kind of cute, right? Look at how kind of just throws it on, kind of scratchy and mucky. Oh, this is going to be I'll call it my dirty brown brush. Now, the thing is, some of you are going to be very good with the whole, medium of distress and making collage-y stuff. I, not so much. Me, maybe not, but this is going to become my dirty brown brush, and I love that. Okay, let me wipe this up. Again, I think it's kind of cute to say this is here. Honestly, even without the frame, because the frame isn't really that heavy, but that's kind of cute just sitting on there. Okay, I'm going to glue this on, and I'm going to glue it with tape adhesive because I don't want to add any more liquid to the project. And do my best at centering it. Good enough. There's one side. I mean, this is just a fun way to decorate the box. That's so cute. Cute. Okay, now do I have anything else that I should put on here? See, just kind of rub it in. And again, the bag folds together. So now we'll just take this and we'll put it on, and that way I have used my frame. But now for this, I feel like I should use liquid glue because this is going to need to set up, and I can't really squeeze it that much. So we're going to do the liquid glue all around the back of this image. And I think this will be enough if I let it dry to hold it in place. And that will be right there. Let's look. That looks centered. I'm kind of just looking at yeah, that's close. Maybe a little that way. And then hold it. Even though these metals don't match, I think I'm going to finish this off. Boop. Sorry, I forgot the boop noise. With a couple of these little guys here. Just sort of as come up a little like that maybe, and maybe one at the top. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. It's kind of fun and it's kind of freaky. Okay, one up here. I mean, again, I'm going to town. Get up there now. I'll have to give these a little squeeze once I get them down because it does take a minute. And I'm not going to put them on the back because there's nothing really framing out the back. Okay, and then get your hands in there and squeeze, squeeze. I don't know if, oh yeah, I can do finger squeeze and finger squeeze. Now, what would be adorable is to have, like, again, little fun size candies. See how this squeezes together because of the score or the little fold lines to make the little box. That is my finished project, which isn't a card. I wish I had like black stuff to fill it in and then I would drop in the candies. But that is my little creepy friend, and I hope you enjoyed this. All right, let's wrap it up with the design review of all projects. Here are the things I created today. Normally I say all cards, but I don't have all cards because of this. I did find some little scrunchies in my little basement area where I keep gift bag stuff. I wish it was craft, or I wish it was black. It's not. That's okay. Let's start by taking a closer look and talking about the design of each card and bag. I think this is my favorite card of the bunch. Everything about this I love. Now, this design, and I'm going to bring in my rule of thirds overlay, everything is center weighted. So there's not much happening in terms of offset this or offset that. We really just have smack dab everything in the center. So this is a very symmetrical design. It feels very balanced, very solid. We have this beautiful white margin space here. And of course, then we have the white background that links together and the white embossed type that creates that visual link. We have our colors repeating. We have the orange both on the background and all of the other colors that pick each other up. The little bit of spatter I think is really nice. It's very simple, but again, that's white as well, so connects to the white areas on the card. I could make this design 6 ways to Sunday. I absolutely love it. I hope this inspires you for ideas with a stenciled background and a very simple, elegant greeting and a tight crop. For this card, I just wanted to find a way to incorporate the collage strips, the metallic craft Tim Holtz cardstock, and some of the brown. This actually feels more masculine in terms of darker colors. Again, I'm obsessed with my scallop set, but that's not part of the kit. As you know, I do bring in other pieces, but this design is very symmetrical at its base, right? Because if I drop my little rule of thirds grid on, everything in the background is kind of cut it in half and cut it in half. It repeats and it repeats. However, the placement of the greeting is just off to the left. It hits right on that intersecting point, and the intersection points of the grid, they are just places of visual interest. It's a good place to have things if you're going to be sprinkling them around. So here we have everything, the greeting square and these little embellishments right there in that quadrant. We have our repetition of browns. We have our repetition. Now this is a cream base, but when you're using white embossing, sometimes it doesn't feel as bright white as it could. So it looks like it has a nice connection there. We repeat some of the pearls. And of course we have that metallic cardstock and the collage paper that I just broke into pieces. For this card, I love this design, even though I got this placed down a little wonky. Maybe it adds to the wonky feel, but this features the concept of the grid, working with a grid and plugging things in. I was able to use some of the collage pieces and of course the greeting here from the stamp set and the hearts as well. This definitely has more of a spooky vibe, but if you lay it over here, again, we've got that grid that's in place on the card, and we've just plugged things into the grid as opposed to using this grid itself. But you can see intersecting point, images. The greeting itself is sandwiched in between those intersecting points. And then we just have our repetition. So here we have repetition of shape, the squares, and of course the grid lines repeat. we have our hearts, we have our little black enamel dots, and a little black spatter. So we have black and orange repeating on the card. And I think there's so many things you can do. You could fill these in with other images, solid cardstock, stamped shapes. Like if you wanted to go for more of a Halloween vibe and you had like little ghosties, you could put those in. There's a lot you're going to be able to do with the grid. So be sure to check that die out as it is available now. I actually sent them an email at Simon and said, can you please send that to me as soon as you can? Because I want to start playing with it. Because again, I just did an electronic cut of my digital file, which I do not recommend. Well, we're moving on. Okay. I think this card is so pretty. Trying the blackout technique, right? And here, I'm going to zoom in a little because it's like hard to get all that good detail. But you've got all this texture, like you can run your finger over it and feel that. And that's even after I cut it out. And look at all the pretty shine, just with that little bit of spatter. And this color palette is so cool. So if I bring in my grid, again, this is a very symmetrical design. We are sandwiched in the middle. We are sandwiched in the middle. It's really not so different from card number 1 in terms of the design, right? It's basically the same design, just with something done differently. And that's kind of cool to look at. So you can see how 2 cards have a very different feel. This one feels a little more crisp and modern. This one feels a little more subdued. That's what I love about taking a core design, trying it a couple different ways, and you really do emerge with a different looking card. All right, and let's look at the last piece, our treat box. Again, I wish I had black. I might have to order some because look how fun that is. So we have our little treat box, right? I put the little collage papers on the handle. And again, you could just do the treat box decorated with the little vintage papers, and that would be cute. It does pinch together. You could tie it with a little ribbon, pop in a couple fun size candies, and send these little creepy kids to someone you love. Not much to say about design. We're just repeating a few elements here, and we have the repeating style of paper throughout. Even though those metals don't match, I think that's just fine. Also, I know with these frames, if you're fancy, you can distress them and do things with them. I just don't know how. And that wraps up this month's unboxing video and card/bag makes. You can find links to all of the products I used in today's video in the YouTube description box. I'll also have a blog post with photos and more details about all of the cards and the box over on my website. The Simon Says Stamp card kit is a tremendous value. Each month, the kit is delivered to your doorstep to inspire your creativity. There's no long-term commitment, and you can cancel at any time. You can also skip any month that doesn't speak to your design aesthetic as long as you skip it by the 15th of each month. Skipping a kit will not affect your subscription. If you're not a subscriber to my channel, I'd love to have you, so please hit that subscribe button and be sure to hit the notification bell so that you don't miss the next time I post. If you like kit unboxings, I have another one linked right here for you to check out, and I'll see you in that video. Thanks so much for watching and have a great day.